Hey guys.
Hi.
We just got out of I, Tonya. And okay, let me just, before we get into it, this is gonna be short because I've got limited time on this camera here.
Yes.
But this is the movie about Tonya Harding, starring Margot Robbie, who played Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, and as her husband, they have the Winter Soldier.
Okay, I thought that was him.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I forget his name. And
He lost weight for this, or he
didn't look as
unbulked or something.
bulky. Yeah. So it is about. It goes from her childhood. This is based on some interviews that were done after after everything went down, and these interviews are with her mother, with her her ex-husband, and
Right.
the friend of the ex-husband, who was the guy who was
So
sort of
dumb.
orchestrating things.
Yeah.
and one of the reporters that was worked for Hard Copy at the time, and I don't remember. I think that was everybody practically, right? That they interviewed. And so you see interviews. They're the actors playing the characters being interviewed, reenacting that. But then you also see the events happening.
Right.
So it's not just a documentary. It's like,
And I love the way they break the wall quite a bit.
They'll be doing the scene that happened, and then they'll talk to the camera.
Talk to the audience.
It was really a cool style. It was really neat.
The way they were panning everything too, it was just the
it was
cinematography was really
very well
good.
done. And I thought the acting was very good.
I loved it.
Of course, she was amazing.
Yeah.
When I compare her to the way I've seen Tonya Harding in interviews, Tonya Harding seems a little softer
She
spoken.
seems a little more timid,
a
right?
little more timid than the way Margot Robbie does her. But I mean, that's not taking away from the performance.
Right.
But just as far as like accuracy, I mean, she seems more timid. Yeah. But yeah, what did you think? Let me ask you this, like, in terms of, like, we were walking out and, like, there was an advertisement and it said hilarious and all this stuff. And in the trailers, this looks like it's going to be pretty funny, even though it's, like, based on true events that were terrible.
Right.
Which, if you don't know, Tonya Harding was a figure skater. And she was competing in the Olympics, and she had some major competition, and that competition got her like knee broken or something, whacked
Kerrigan.
she got attacked, and it turned out it was Tonya Harding was involved. If you see the movie, you'll get there are different sides of the story, and in the movie you get all of that. But what did you think? Was it hilarious, or was
I thought it was really funny, but it was a dark
it
comedy.
was it was a dark comedy. That's accurate.
I mean, the actors played the characters so well. I mean, they were kind of idiotic in a way.
Yeah, and that's why it was funny, but it was a really sad movie.
Yeah, it was.
And it was funny in almost a way that you feel guilty about, like, finding it funny, or at least I did.
She even
because
the
her life
even
was
calls
all
her out.
her life was entirely abuse.
So
that was
sad.
her whole life from being a small child, and it really did seem like everybody was against her, because when she would try to get out of it, and she didn't make good decisions, but at the same time there weren't really very good options for her at any point. And how can you make good decisions when you've been psychologically really messed up from all that? That's the thing about, when they say, when you're an adult, you should be able to, like, break away from all that, but your brain's messed up from all that, But yeah, what were you saying? What were you going to say about they who called her out on something? Or
she called the audience out.
Oh yeah. That was that was like an impactful scene, where she's saying, you all were, attacked me as much as anyone, just talking to the audience. And, they were showing it, and you really got a sense of that. Like, she's sitting there having her microwave dinner, and David Letterman is doing a top 10. And that was like, oh, wow. And I remember back when they were doing those things, and everybody's having a laugh, and you don't think about the person that is sitting there,
Well, you never do.
You never do. But and in some cases, you feel like they earned it. Like in that, from the perspective of watching like the news or something, you're just like, well, that was a horrible person who did a horrible thing, and you really don't have all sides of the story, and you don't really think about it anyway because you've got your own life you're doing, But
Nancy Kerrigan, that's so sad.
that was,
I don't.
yeah, and you can't excuse that.
I don't
was
remember
horrible.
the footage, because I remember this whole scandal happening. I was telling somebody earlier that I remember this. I remember O.J. Simpson, and I remember John Benet Ramsey. Like those are the three big
news scandalous news things
of my childhood, I guess. But it was crazy. It was I thought this film was really well done. I really
well
do.
done. Yeah.
And it's very, I don't want to say entertaining, but I mean, I think you'll get a lot out of it by going to see
the
it.
performances. I mean, and that's the thing. It was amazing. You have like the mother, and I again, I don't know this actress's name, but I think she was from Malcolm in the Middle or one of those shows.
Yeah.
Played the mother there.
Was she? No, she wasn't the mother on Malcolm in the Middle.
Well, a similar show to that, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
I thought it was Malcolm. I don't know, but something like that. But anyway, she the way she's like really horrible. But just the way she performs it, the actress.
Yeah.
It's funny at times.
Right.
But then, you're also seeing somebody beating up on a little kid.
That was Margot.
And that's when you're like, oh God.
That was the lead actress's job, to bring it all back to the fact that,
Yeah.
Which she did a fantastic
That's true.
job.
It's when you're getting the mother's side of things. She's like acting kind of like funny about it, but then you see the real thing, and then it's like it's heart-wrenching to watch when they really get into it and show her like as a child and the way she's treated, and then the husband who was just horrible. You see a lot of abuse in this movie, and I don't know how you came out of it. I came away really feeling bad for her. Like, it's very sympathetic to her.
I did too, but I didn't even really, obviously I thought about the abuse, but more than anything I came away with the fact that she didn't, her poor dream was just crushed.
Yeah.
That's what I came out of that with. I was like, wow, she can never skate again.
That was
awful.
part of it.
And then she got pushed into these horrible things like being a fighter and doing horrible movies.
Well, yeah, they told her she could never be involved in the Olympics or ice skating again professionally in any way, which
I loved that scene. She played that. That was a great scene.
Yeah, she had her big final monologue kind of thing. They were kind of, you could call it that, but but at the same time, throughout the movie, you see that they would never let her win.
No,
they just wouldn't because of where she came from.
Because it's also kind of a beauty pageant.
Yeah, it was very much like a beauty pageant kind of a thing, and because of her background, they even told her at times, because she would confront them,
right,
and they would tell her, look, your family situation and everything, it's
they need
just,
to get an all-American family.
You're not all-American, and so you're never gonna, it's more than just the skating. And she kept saying, why isn't it just about the skating? But so in truth, she needed to find something else to do with her skating. Yeah. Because if she wanted to keep skating, the Olympics, they were never gonna let her. So
well, she could have done show skating, things like that.
So that was really tragic, but at the same time, they didn't take away from her anything that she had a chance with, because they were never going to give it to her. So yeah, but she was kind of unable to. Well,
but at the end, she just didn't. She wanted to skate no matter what, even if it was.
Well,
just for
she
something
could
else.
still skate for something else. She just couldn't skate.
No, she
in
can't
that sporting.
Be a part of any kind of skating.
No, they didn't say she could never skate. Literally never skate.
Well, no, she can go skating at the skating rink.
No, she could skate in a show.
I don't know,
something.
because it said that you couldn't
I don't
be a
think
part
that
of
was-
any skating function ever again or something like that.
I think it had to do with that organization, but I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, you could be right.
But it might be a part of all of it, you know?
Maybe they're all tied together. Yeah.
Like
maybe.
a union or something.
Maybe you have to start your own show.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, she ends up being a lady boxer, which was just it's just so sad because she just fell back on, like she said, it was the only thing she knew was violence.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a really sad movie, and it has a lot of comedy because of the times when they emphasize the stupidity of a lot of the characters, especially the characters around her, because you do feel very sympathetic towards her, I think, in the film. Despite what happened to Nancy Kerrigan was horrible, but it's kind of like, and you're taking the word of these people, but it kind of seems like Tonya Harding didn't really have anything to do with it. She was okay with reaping the benefits when they started to come afterwards.
Yeah.
Like having more of an edge, to win, well, like she thought, and everything. But as far as actually organizing it, supposedly she wasn't
She didn't
really
have anything to do with it.
involved. But anyway, yeah, tragic, excellently made and acted. And you were saying about the soundtrack.
Oh, I loved the soundtrack.
The soundtrack was awesome.
Great music.
There's a lot of like rock, classic rock.
And they
type
picked
stuff
perfect
and-
songs for different characters. They would play.
Yeah.
So
They were
they
playing
would-
kind of like 70s kind of music for the guy, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
of his mustache and stuff.
Yeah.
His porn mustache. But yeah, the music was great. The soundtrack was great. You think this would be? I don't know. I guess they've already announced the Oscar,
I don't know.
nominees. I don't know if this came out at the right. If it was too late for this year's Oscars, and I don't know if they got any nominations or what. But would you think that they?
Oh, I doubt that they would nominate this
Really?
anything, but I feel like I keep forgetting her name.
Margot Robbie?
I feel like Margot Robbie gave an Oscar-worthy performance for sure.
I don't doubt that they would. I mean,
I don't know.
Why not? I mean, it's seems like a kind of thing they might.
They don't seem
nominate.
to do dark comedies, but maybe.
Yeah, but it was very dark, and I mean, it was.
See,
it was also,
you got more of a dark
I
vibe
got
from it than I
a
did.
very dark vibe out of it.
I found it quite funny actually. I mean, obviously it wasn't funny, but
Well, no, I did get a lot of the comedy out of it. I mean, I think I was laughing more than
it was a very
the audience in general
was
wasn't
a
laughing
very-
as much as I was.
It was a
but-
very upbeat movie, so if we sound depressed or anything,
Yeah.
we're just tired.
Well, it is
you're
very
not
late
gonna
right
you're
now,
not gonna
but-
be depressed or anything when you see this movie.
There's a lot of abuse in this movie, but it is an upbeat movie in a way. It's complicated. It's kind of a mix of that, I think.
Yeah.
It's upbeat,
Well,
but
it's not like a Lifetime. Like they don't show when they show her getting beat. It's not like a Lifetime type beat. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's upbeat in a way.
They make it comedic somehow.
Yeah.
In the way they perform it, but not in a silly way. It's
Right.
straight
it's
up like
serious,
real looking.
But yeah.
It's just, but not at times. There are times when it's just horribly violent, especially with the boyfriend when he's like smacking her he'll just punch her in the head and whatever in the face.
Which is so funny because he's like this tiny little weaselly guy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't find any of that parts funny, but yeah, it was, it's a weird kind of uncomfortable humor, but it works. It's very entertaining, and yeah, I think it gets a message across too. But yeah, I highly recommend it.
It was really good.
Really
You guys
good
go
movie,
see
guys.
it.
Go see it. Okay, we're super tired, so we're not going to get into anything else. I mean, sometimes we'll talk about the trailers. I'm just going to say one thing about the trailers. If I see that dog trailer one more time, I love animation, I love dogs, but I don't even remember the name of this Island of the Dogs movie, but it's just so pretentious looking. Am I right? Does it not look like they think they're the shit for making this?
It's pretentious.
I can't. Oh, God. But it's probably great.
It looks interesting.
I'll probably go see it,
I know.
and maybe it's awesome. It just looks so pretentious that I can't. stand it. But anyway, okay.
Well.
Okay, we'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.